have some guests that will be helping me out with this topic. And after I play my commercial, I will be back with y'all on the other side.
That's right. We're on live. We're gonna get this thing. We're gonna get this thing done one way or another. What's up to y'all? What's up to y'all?
What's up? Are you looking for a YouTube channel where you can learn a great deal about what it's like to be visually impaired? Well, look no further because Third Eye Visions is for you. Go to the YouTube channel, put in the search bar 3RD EYE Visions/Anthony Third Eye Visions/Anthony and all the videos that will be very educational and watching. What's up, everyone?
Oh, we can't hear you, Anthony. I can't hear you.
I hear the music, but that's all.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Anthony. We can't hear you.
He was talking and then he
Went
faded
out.
away.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Can you still see him?
Hold on, because I have a lot of lights on, and my eyes don't work in lights.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hey, baby, something happened. I need you. Yeah, I have photophobia, so when the lights are on, it
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't hear him. So is he all the way in? Is he in the thing?
Yes.
Okay. And what about her? She's still there.
Yeah, she's there.
Okay.
But,
So
the camera wants to shift. We're not
where
seeing
for her?
Her left ear.
For her?
We're not seeing her right ear from your side. Her left ears.
Okay. So what side would that be for her to shift her phone?
She needs to shift her
To
phone
the right?
to the left.
To the left. My husband said shift your phone to the left a little.
Okay.
Yes. I know. She know I'm talking to her. I'm not talking to him because we can't hear him.
No. I don't know.
A little bit more to the left. Okay.
Oh yeah, we're talking to you.
Okay.
Mr. Dale. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
because I didn't know. I don't know. I'm glad you said something.
Let's tilt it on a little front way now.
Okay. He said tilt it down a little. Hold on.
Is it this way?
Hello.
Is it this way?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. That's okay. Just shift it a little to your left. Yeah, that's okay now. Tilt it down to the ground.
Just a little.
Just a little. Right, yeah, you're right on the money right there, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a tripod, so I have to hold it. So. Oh gosh.
We can't hear you, Anthony. We can't
Can you hear me?
you.
What about now?
Yeah.
Oh yes. We can hear you.
Tell your son thank you, Aletha, or your husband, or your son.
That's my husband. Yeah, that's my husband.
Tell him thank you.
It's my husband.
Okay.
Thank you, baby. They said thank you.
I can't promise I'm going to keep it this way because I'm holding the phone, but I'm going to try.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to try.
So you all have seen some backstage, a little backstage of what it takes for us to get straight. Now we're going to get on with the topic. Welcome to Third Eye Visions, where we motivate the blind, stimulate your mind, and welcome all kind. Today's subject, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is racism. This seems to be the time that a lot of people don't want to talk. But now with the emergence of so much that has happened in the past, we kind of like want to expound on it as well as everyone else. Today, my guest, Adele, who is a blind Caucasian woman, wanted to discuss this. She said, quote, "I am a white person willing to learn. My goal is to be an example for how open and receptive a white person should be." Along with my guest, Aletha Donaldson, who has a YouTube channel by the same name, we will provide just that platform for her to do exactly what she stated. Now, this will allow us to learn as well. So we'll be learning along with her, whatever she needs to learn. I know that's a long topic. I want y'all to hit the notification bell. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all like, dislike if y'all don't, comment, and share. This is to all the future subscribers. Make sure you all share the video. Now, with that being said, what's up, Alita? How you doing? How you doing,
I'm doing
Alita?
good. How you doing today, Anthony?
All right, I'm doing great. How are you
I'm
doing?
doing
Early.
good. How are you?
Okay. And Adele, how you doing?
Doing
I'm
great.
doing.
Go
I'm
ahead.
doing great, Anthony. I am ready to discuss this. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to listen. I need to hear this. It needs to be not only just talked about, but I need to learn to put this in action and be an example, and just be an example whether anybody's going to listen or not. I need to change, and that's all I can say.
Okay. So are you ready, Alita?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So with that being said, Adele, tell the people why you wanted to come on here. What did you hope to accomplish on the show this morning?
Let me just say this, and if it's okay, I can give you a little background on my
Sure.
environment that I grew up in. I grew up, obviously, in the white environment, and from a young age, I noticed that white people acted one way in private about black people, and they acted another way about black people when they were in public with them. They'd say slurs in private when black people wasn't there, and they when they were with black people, they treat them all nice, and they're the best thing that ever happened since oxygen. And from a young age, I noticed this, and I never thought it was right. I never did. So at a young age, I made the decision to not call anybody out their name, to not say the racial slurs that I knew to be racial slurs, and to realize that if I could make that decision, then why isn't the rest of the white society not making that decision? And I had to think about this for a long time. And I can only speak from my environment. The way that I was brought up is like, if it doesn't affect me, it shouldn't affect you. That was, they'll never say that out loud. But the basic premise is, if it doesn't affect me, it shouldn't affect you. And I'll go into that. I'm going to back up what I say. If a black person lives in a certain zip code and they happen to be driving a nice car and they happen to be dressed up in, good clothes, and they live in a certain zip code, the police are going to stop them because they're going to think they're selling drugs or doing drugs, or they stole the car, or they stole the clothes, or all of it. What I'm saying is when you confront a white person about this, and if I say something, well, it doesn't affect you. Okay, that's the standard answer you are going to get. It doesn't affect you. That's the whole thing, that this systemic racism thing, to me, I'm just telling you from my observation, is built on.
Okay.
Let's keep. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, hold that thought. Alita, you had something to say? Alita.
Yes, I do. I was going to just back up a little bit more. I think if we understand the premise of the police officers and how they started, I know I probably mentioned it before, but how they started and why they started, it wasn't just to protect neighborhoods, or it wasn't just to protect the communities. The police force itself started from slave catchers. They started it from slave catchers, and we know that the African Americans, so they say, were the ones that were enslaved and captured and brought here from another country to here to basically build up America. So when when they got a chance to have some type of a freedom, the United States did not really want that to happen, and so the slaves would try to run off. Everybody or anybody and everybody has heard about Harriet Tubman. She leaded a lot of slaves to freedom. She brought them to different states up north. So in order to keep the reins on the black people, they started a coalition of paddy wagons, slave catchers. They also recruited other slaves that were obedient and understood what would happen if they ran away and got caught. They would be beaten almost to death, could be beaten to death, could be hung, could have been tortured and whatnot. They also recruited them to go out and find the slaves. So I believe the police, that the whole policing itself has the mindset of the beginning of how this started. The whole policing thing, like the policing system itself. I think that it reigns back for the Caucasians, so they say, society remembers how this started, and they don't let go of how it started, and they remember that they try as hard as they can to keep us controlled or in a controlled environment, and they don't want us to be in a free stance area. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I'm glad you
Sorry
broke
that was so long.
That's okay. I'm glad you broke that down because, in a nutshell, it sort of brings back the definition of racism, which, I pulled up. And in my assumption is racism tries to support the assumption that one race is superior, therefore trying to assert, domination over another race. Now, Adele, with that being said, what do you want to know? What has plagued your mind for many years that you have the floor to ask? And don't there's no holding back. Whatever it is that you want to ask to clear your mind and to clear your conscience about whatever it is that'll make things smoother as we move forward.
I guess my thing that I'm coming from is why are white people suddenly doing this now? Joining in the protests and. To me, it appears, I'm jumping on the bandwagon now, and it disturbs me because I'm thinking, okay, are you doing this because other white people are doing this, or do you really mean it, or was it the George Floyd video enough to wake you up? I mean, why did it take so long? And it is systemic racism, and the way that they keep the black man poor. I knew this. I knew there was a hierarchical structure. I knew this. And why aren't white people owning up to this? If somebody like me, who is blind, who does have another disability, has a disability, I'm no better than anybody else. Yep. I haven't been gifted with any other type of high consciousness or a better brain or anything. Why aren't more people just owning up that, hey, we're the problem? We have been the problem. We've hoisted ourselves up higher than anybody else. And why aren't we admitting that? Because that's the first step toward change. We have to admit.
That's also true. Now I'm gonna let Aletha answer that right quick. Go ahead, Aletha. There's a little delay with her. Aletha.
Wait. No, let her finish. Let her finish.
I'm done.
She was done.
Let her finish. Because she was saying something. Yeah, let her finish. You're done. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, let me commend you. Like, I just want to say that wholeheartedly, I really appreciate you coming here and being on this platform and speaking for a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
there's a huge
sorry.
delay. There's a
Oh,
huge
and
delay.
speaking for a lot of people that feel the same way that you do. Um, you are an example of what we need the next generation.
It's, it's definitely needed. She is gonna come back on. Just go in and come back out. It's definitely it takes a lot of courage to actually come on and speak in about this in such magnitude. But the thing of it is, me personally, I can't answer as to why it may have taken something of this magnitude with the George Floyd situation to wake up everyone. But I don't know if it would have if it had come to a head, if not anything like this has happened. But I guess you can just take it for what it's worth. You can take it for what it's worth and say better late than never. I'm gonna let you comment on that while I'll bring her back on.
There's been too many obvious. I mean, how obvious was the civil rights movement? What should you have needed to make you realize that there still is blatant inequality between the races, however you want to put it? Somebody fighting for their civil rights, to go anywhere they want to go, to be in any school they want to be in, to be in any public place they want to be in. I mean, to me, your civil rights is not, to me, it's just the lowest of the low kind of rights. That's your basic bottom of the heap kind of rights. What more do you need to get it in your head that there is blatant inequality? And my personal answer to that, I can only answer for myself. If I didn't get it in my head, if I didn't realize it, it was my conscious choice not to realize it. My conscious choice to say, I'm going to ignore this. It's not my problem. It doesn't affect me.
Okay, Alita.
I'm so sorry, you guys, that my phone
That's okay.
just I don't know,
Uh,
just
she was.
went
Did you
out.
want?
But yeah, I don't know if you guys heard me. I'm not sure if you guys heard me, but I was just saying that I commend you so wholeheartedly for being the person and a person to step up and say, listen, I know what my people have done is wrong and it's ridiculous and it's time to stand up and it's time to, what I mean, say something and speak out and fight with you guys because this is wrong. There's a lot of people that do believe. I think that you were speaking something about is this really something that you believe in, reason why you're standing up, or is this something that just is now another bandwagon that you're jumping on? If this is, do you believe that this really is a fight and it should change, or are you just on here for Black Lives Matter and to just jump on that bandwagon? And there's so many different sectors to that because there were a lot of people that were trying to just, I guess, get in the camera or get in the fight just to do something. There were a lot of people that were trying to make it worse, wanting to start race wars on both sides. I hate to say that, but yes. And they didn't want a solidarity, as to say. So I really commend you for that. But we have been dealing with this, as you know, for centuries, not
Yes.
decades, for
Yes.
centuries. And
Yes.
it's really hard. I have endured racism to a point that it changed my life. I ended up in a situation that I have definitely had to deal with for the rest of my life, and it will never ever change. Um, so I'm going to be honest with you, for a very long time, I did not like a non-colored person, period. I didn't have no likes. I didn't care for them at all because of the things that changed in my life, to be honest with you. And it was only by the grace of God. It was God who changed my thought process on that. I'm never timid around them or you all. I apologize, but I do watch what I'm doing. I'm very careful around um, non-colored people. I'm just being or non my community. I watch what I'm doing. I watch what I say, and I move in different ways. And I hate that we as a society are still in the same way. If you look from the 60s till now, a lot has
Mhm.
changed, but we're still almost in the same environment because the only thing that has changed is the signs on the doors. I'm just
Okay.
saying.
Yes,
I mean, that's
that's
really
all.
how I feel.
Okay. Go ahead, Adele.
It's a different facade for the same old problem. We're still the problem. White folk is still the problem. I don't care what legislation you put on it. I don't care what law you're going to pass. So far, what you've done with your power, with our power, is we've kept black people unequal in employment. It's, from what I can tell, maybe, and Aletha, you can educate me on other ways, but the only thing that comes to mind is employment and business
Yes,
and marketing and capitalism and
yes,
advertising
yes, yes,
platforms
yes,
to,
yes,
to
yes,
promote to
yes.
promote your business. But I need help with that because I want to know the hidden, subtle ways that we as white people are racist against black people. I want to know that.
Now let me stop you right there. Now, while you saying that token, I'm gonna just play the. I want you by you saying that, I'm gonna just play the devil's advocate. You said white people are racist. Now, do you put a some on there or most, or you just going to the extreme and saying white people?
No, I'm not. I'm not. They're never. White people's never going to be overtly racist. That's they're not going to show that.
No.
It's not going to happen.
No. I'm saying when you say white people are racist, when you do that, you make a blatant statement to
I
say.
know I do.
Okay,
I do.
so that's what you mean,
Let
though,
me
right?
just say my
Okay.
environment that I grew up in. I will say it like this. My environment that I grew up in is definitely racist.
So why on
What
that
I grew up in
Mhm,
was definitely
mhm,
racist. Oh
mhm.
yeah,
now
no question
on that
about it.
same token, and tell us what have you heard that you want to get to get answers to, or just to have your mind changed right now about black folks, and you can say it whatever it is that you were taught that I know you, so I don't want to say that you are racist. No, I'm not gonna say that because that's not that I want everybody just to get the realness of you. So what have you heard
She's
about
not. Yeah,
huh?
I want.
I think that it's me, Alisa. I'm sorry for cutting you off, Miss Adele. I believe, I think that even her making the blanketed statement or the blatant statement of white people itself, she's meaning, okay, listen, I'm trying to get an understanding myself. I can't speak for everybody, but it looks like even though the white people say, oh, I have a black friend, my black friend is my best friend, but when they go home, do they still have the same attitude in their
Yes, they do.
household when their door
Yes,
closes?
yes, yes,
You know what I mean?
yes,
So
Okay.
yes,
are they still saying the same
yes,
thing when they come
yes,
home to their family? Are they making
yes,
statements about
yes,
the black people and the black community?
yes,
She feels a certain way, but what she's saying is majority of a lot of white people can be your friends at the workplace, can be your friends at a restaurant, have dinner, lunch, and all, even have their families around you. But when they get home and they're around their family and their environment, do they change? And most
yes, they
likely,
do.
she's
Yes,
saying, most likely that is the case, that it
yes,
does change and they
yes,
have a certain, and the reason being is because the same thing that happened to black people, the generational findings follows generation after generation. And we have to be able to change that with the actions that we have right now. And Adele is a part of that. She's
Okay.
saying, listen, if it be me, I would change that. But go ahead, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. Comment on that.
That's
For
what I
one,
believe.
well, you're right, and I didn't. When Anthony said, "What do you want black people to teach you?" It's like I was still thinking about, white people acting two ways: one way in public and one way in private. How the hell can black people teach you anything if you're going to be a blatant hypocrite? But Aletha's right, and I've
Great
heard
point.
this too many times that white people will, the ones that I grew up with, the ones in my environment, will act two ways. I'm so tired of hearing about this racism thing, and it's like, yeah, you're tired of yourself being shown, is what it is. You're tired of too much truth, is what it is.
Wow, that's deep. Now, go
But
ahead.
what I want, Aletha, to answer your question, what I'd like to learn from black people, it's what I'm speaking for me. What can I do to prove it that I'm not just being this way in public, and then I'm gonna go around to my white friends and turn around and say racial stuff, which I can tell you that I don't do. If you can, talk to my friends, they'll tell you that my white friends, even, I won't do that.
Well, let me answer that, and then I'll let Aletha answer. What you're doing now is taking the first step, and I would take out the word proof, because you don't have to prove anything to anyone. And let me go back to this quote to refresh everybody's mind. I like what you have. You said, quote, "I am a white person willing to learn. My goal is to be an example of how open and receptive white person should be, alone should be, and that's you
Yes.
doing that, and I like that first step and whatnot." Aletha,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. You took every word that I was going to say right out of my mouth. Anthony, I really totally wholeheartedly agree with you on that one.
Mm.
She's already made the first step. That is the step. That is the proof that we need. That is proof. You're doing it right now.
Well, let
Being
me
on
just
here and
confess.
asking the question, what can I do?
Well, I need to confess,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to go further.
Mm-hmm.
My people have been the problem since day one. My people have created inequality. They created dissension. They created discrimination. We fostered minimalism, where we just kind of say, well, everybody's lives matter. Well, no, not all lives have mattered.
That's right. I like
We
that.
have been wrong forever. We've been wrong since the day that we were given the power and the supremacy to be wrong. That's my confession. I'm saying it now. My people have been. They still are. And I can't confess anymore. I can apologize all I want. That's not going to correct it without change, without admitting that you are that we are the problem. We caused a problem, and we have to admit that we need to change ourselves first before we try to minimize or victimize or invalidate anybody or discriminate against anybody.
I have a question for you, Adele. I wanted to know, what do you think in your mind when you hear, let me say this, it has to change with the top, and the person in the house that he was put in at this time, yes, we have to start at the top. But my question is, what do you think when you hear a person of your color say, if you don't like being here, or you don't like this country, or you don't like how you're treated, because I've heard this plenty of times, many times, go back to where you came from.
I think
because I've always wanted to ask, always wanted to ask someone of your color, like, what do you think when you hear that, being the conscious person that you are, having the conscious mind that you have? What do you think when you hear someone say that to a person of color?
Let me say this. For one, it's extremely selfish because you are promoting your ways, your agenda, your lifestyle, your thought processes, your upbringing, and in this instance, your race above anything or anybody else. When you make that statement, if you don't like it, you need to go back to where you came from. That's telling me that you don't want to change, that you don't think you're the problem, that you're invalidating the other person, and you are not going to change.
True. Facts. That's so true. And you, I can't even say anymore. You hit the nail squarely on the head, and people are not, the people are not receptive to wanting to.
You don't want to be.
change.
You've made the choice. I want to reiterate that. When you say, if you don't like it, leave, you have made your choice already. And you can say all you want, well, I didn't know any better. No, you didn't want to know any better.
Or take the time out to want to know any better. And that's just the thing about it. What have you always had? Have you always had these feelings? Go ahead. That's good.
Let me just say this. I've always been uncomfortable with that philosophy or that stupidity. Let me just call it that for what it is. I have always disliked that sentence. If you don't like it, leave. But I've just recently, the older I get, the better I understand why I disliked it. Because you're putting the focus squarely on you. You're telling everybody more about you than what you realize, that you're just going to stick with you and what you think. And it really doesn't matter what anybody's problem is, what anybody's opinion is, or maybe even facts. You would ignore the facts if they were presented to you. You would say, well, if you don't like it, leave. The wrongs that you are continuously doing, you're presented with hardcore evidence, and you're saying, if you don't like it, leave. That tells me more about.
Well, I wanted to react to that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
That tells me more about.
I wanted to react to that because it's something that you haven't touched on what I wanted to present. So you asked if we could maybe educate you on some things, or maybe enlighten you on some things.
What have I missed? I want to know what I've missed. I want to know what I've ignored. I want to know because I don't know. That's what I'm here for.
Okay, so what I feel when a person says that, the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, you stole my ancestors from their place of origin.
That's true.
You took them and you brought them here.
That's true.
So if you did not want, it's like, so to me, them saying that means that we've used your labor, we've used you for what we needed you for, and now we no longer need you. So we can throw you away, which means that they can murder us in the street, they can kill us at any time, they don't care anything for us.
That makes perfect sense.
That we can go back to wherever we came from, where they took us from. And I feel that, I feel as though that shows their hate, period. And when you hate or you spew hate, it returns hate. And that's why I ended up being the way I was.
Let me just say this.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was thinking about it from the white person's view, and you've told me what the black person's view is, or reasons or definite valid points. I'm not black. I was never a slave. I need to know these things. I don't know the struggle. I'll never know the struggle that black people have gone through. I'll just tell you that. So no, I need to be told. I need to.
No, but we know history. We know history, though.
I know you know history. I know you know history. And the next question I want to ask: what book?
We all know history.
this is my point, and I want to
I'm
say
sorry.
to
Go
the
ahead.
people. I want to say to the people, there's a bit of delay
Okay.
on
Go
Alita.
ahead.
There's a bit of delay on Alita's end. That's why it's coming out like that. But the main factor that you can, if you want to learn more, and that's not just you, just anyone who wants to learn about history of other people. There are many books, and pardon me if I don't have the names before me, but there's also the internet. There's so many ways that the white people and the other people want to learn. They can get on and Google whatever it is, like any type of history, Black history, to learn, so that if they want to become more empathetic towards what's going on, they could. But mainly, most of a person's feelings has to come from just within. I mean, like prejudice and racism, to me, it's taught. So if it's
Yes,
taught
it
to you
is.
by somebody else, and you learn that, then that's what you're gonna mostly carry on to other people if you have kids, or just throughout your lives. But if you are from maybe a family, or you Christian, or you just decide to become Christian, whatever the case may be, you learn, well, hey, these are people just like everyone else. Why is it that these white people want to have a domination over Black people, or whatever the case may be? Then you start to wonder, okay, well, this can't be right. This can't be right. If everyone is created equal, then that would raise a red flag to want you to learn. So that's the first thing that you would do. Like, you're doing the right thing, but that's the thing for most people to do, to know that everyone is, in most cases, created equal under if you're religious, under God's eyes. But even that's not the case. If I'm Black and I'm white, we all are human. There shouldn't be a situation where you have dominion over me, and I'm just a slave. I'm superior. I'm inferior. Go ahead.
I want to repair something with Aletha, because of the fact I did not think along the lines of, oh, we're just throwaway now. You're the ones that brought us here. What can I do to you to show you how to correct my mistake? I want to correct this here. I want to correct this here. I don't want to end this show without discussing this. First of all, I want to apologize that I didn't think.
It's not something you're doing.
The delay is okay. Go ahead, Alita. Alita. Go.
No, it's not for you to repair. It's not for you to repair anything. Your ancestors, it's something that your ancestors did. It's just the fact that people are, when they say these things, they don't think about, okay, my ancestors brung these people here, and so we're the reason why these people are here, because my ancestors would still be where they were taken from if you know what I mean, and we would not be here. We would be in our area of the universe, like the earth. You know what I mean? We wouldn't be here in the United States. And so that's the only thing. It's not for you to repair that. It is for you to realize or think about that. And that was the question. It was just the question of what in your mind do you think? And so I said, I didn't hear her make this point. And I feel as though if you make those statements, or if you've ever heard those statements, you have to think about what originally happened for the people that were enslaved to get here. What happened for us to get here? And that's what a lot of people seem to forget and don't want to admit to or bring to the forefront. That's what I was saying.
See, but you've given me the answer to say that to the next white person that says, well, if they don't like it, they need to leave. I do have the answer to that, because you brought it up, that white people brought Black people over here. You really have no reason or right to say that. And I just want to know how to, I guess, make you more comfortable with me as a white person, and what can I do, or how can I act or change my thought process, because there's always room for change. There's always room for growth. And today was a teaching moment for me. For what you said, and I'm glad you said that, Aletha, because you are already
good with me. You got my phone number. Yeah.
Well, that's true.
You're already good with me, because you got my phone number, so you can call me.
Let me say this, and I keep retro back retroing back to what Adele is doing as a blind white Caucasian person. I'm putting my feelings aside about it because I've been known her for 35 years, and she has never exemplified any sense of any racism, anything like that. And this first time she's openly discussed this, with me and with my host. You are doing the right thing. You don't owe anyone else. The thing of it is, you are as a white person, you are doing what's needed to be, and I really feel you, and I know that you are sincere about it. The thing of it is like when Alita was talking about those statements that people have said, they bringing us from Africa. Not only were white people had done it, it was a combination of and let me be real, we were coerced or
Yes.
in terms of selling our own people, in terms of whatever was offered. But I said it to say that how people and people of Caucasian descent could be most of them could be to have the manner to manipulate people to do certain things, so whenever they want certain things to happen. So the majority of it is that, we were brought here on ships. They were run by the people in England. They were run by white people, blah, blah, blah. But, there were some black people, but the whole majority of the whole deal was we were brought from Africa, then planted here in the United States. And then from that, by us, they looked at us as 3/5 of a person. We weren't considered a person. I mean, just a whole bunch of things that bottled up in our hearts and our minds over the years, 400 some odd years, which caused us to have this anger, which caused us to be this way, to hold us back from reading, from using the Bible, to hold us back, saying that if we learn how to read, it's a bad thing. So it was mainly. Even with the Willie Lynch papers, there were papers that were drawn up, Adele, how to keep black people in slavery, pit light skin against blacks, short against tall, the uneducated against the educated. And then in that case, the white masters would use this against us. They would go to that's how you have so many mixed relations.
I've always wanted to know.
Yeah, they're mulattoes and quadroons and all that, because people, the white slaves took it upon themselves to intertwine with these
not white slaves, but
and create this. And in a sense, it was so much to where they would, like, black men couldn't even do anything about certain situations, to where white people would rape our women in front of us. We couldn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? There would be even times where they would come and get these our black women out of the bed to have sex with them. So it's a whole bunch of things that they did, and this bottled up against in our mind. And for so long, it's been perpetuated over the years, to where we've been held back so long, to where we will never catch up, by the fact that white people have done so much, knowing that in the country of Africa and Egypt and all that, these were prominent black men who
purposely done,
things of that nature. So I'm gonna be quiet and let her respond. Or let Elizabeth respond.
Yes.
Let me just say,
it was purposely done, and Adele, okay, go ahead.
Sure, it was consciously done. I've always known that. I just didn't know the magnitude. And it doesn't surprise me. I hate to say it, but it doesn't surprise me. No, it doesn't. It's a very, very thought out way of keeping black people, so-called, in their place. And because Anthony, when we were growing up, and you talked about the tap dancing that time,
right? I
would have never known that it was a racial statement, because I didn't know that most of the performers were black. I didn't know. If I'd have heard you with tap shoes, I'd have said, "What kind of shoes are that?" You'd have told me, and I said, "What happened to your other shoes?" And you'd have answered it, and we would have gone on.
Well, for those who didn't, let me educate. What happened was, Alita, I was wearing some Stacey Adams one day in high school, and had some taps on it, and I didn't think nothing of it, because I was like 10th or 9th grade, and a white lady said, I'm not gonna mention her name, stated, "Oh, you could be a tap dancer." Now, I don't know if she took, as I think about it now, I think it was a racial undertone or whatever. But at that point in time, I didn't take it as such. I just took it and ran with it. But to know that back then, the situation, black people, dancers, tap dancers. Most
Yeah.
of them did that. Yeah, so that's what the situation was, and that's what I was explaining to Adele. So there are a lot of, and you can point out some too, Aletha. There are a lot of stereotypes about Black people that you may not even know of, that you probably hadn't even thought of if you know, as a white person, to say, oh, I didn't know that. So if there's anything that you want to ask in reference to that, or anything, you're welcome to ask.
What are the existing stereotypes?
Go ahead, Aletha. Okay, Aletha, you want
to existing stereotypes
Right
that
now.
like you named a few. You named a few. That most Black men are drug dealers. Black fathers are not good to their families. They don't love their kids. And that they can't maintain a family. That's a stereotype. That most Black women are angry. And we're aggressive, very aggressive. That our educational standpoint is very low, and it's lower than our counterparts. There's so many different stereotypes that have been out there, purposely driven in order to keep us away from better education, better schools, better jobs, and to drive us away from our Black men. I'm just being real. I have to, you know what I mean? This is what we're supposed to do, is tell the truth.
Right.
And this is what has happened to the Black community and the Black families. They have been pulled apart, and they have been taught that we don't go together. And to touch back on what Anthony was saying, about being raped and whatnot in front of our Black men, and our families torn apart, them selling our babies, them selling our ancestors' babies on an auction block, and there was nothing that they could do, and if they reacted a certain way, they could get hung or killed. That was just crazy. But they used to break our men down and do it in front of the wife or the woman, and the woman had to end up, if he got killed, taking care of that family. And so now in society, with Black women in our community, it looks good for a Black woman to be single and be a strong, independent woman, when that is not the case. We should all be families. If a white man is taking care of his family, why shouldn't the Black man take care of his family? So there's a lot of stereotypes in there. There's a lot of them that are put to the forefront into society to make us look bad. I wanted to say this really quick, and then I'm going to be quiet. I was watching the Michael Brown case yesterday, and I watched it all the way through. And I'm not going to talk about the case in totality. I'm not. But what I did notice was throughout this program, they have it on Stars. They showed about what happened to him. And then at the end of it, it showed about a police dog that was shot down and killed and murdered. And they said that the family that owned that dog ended up getting $1 million, but Michael Brown's family didn't receive anything. They didn't receive justice. They didn't receive any wrongful lawsuit. They didn't receive anything for this boy getting shot down because he had just made 18 and he was on his way to college. I think that if you are a white person in society and look at TV and can't see or don't understand what's going on, it is because you don't want to, and you are in it yourself. You're not blind, you're not asleep, you just don't give a dang. And I'm done.
I have to agree with that. Dog bunk comes before a Black man.
Wow, that's deep. So
what else can I say?
What else do you want to at least ask, or just leave here feeling, at least relieved about from the discussion, Adele? Anything that you want to actually, or do you have a clear understanding in terms of why sometimes black people are maybe a bit outraged when it comes to certain situations, because as I mentioned, the racism, all that triggers all throughout the media, all throughout, just everywhere. Even
Yes, it
just
does.
they even assume that more black folks are on food stamps, which is not the case. So mainly, you have to do a lot of reading, and just don't accept things for what it's worth. Go ahead.
I knew this, that supposed anger or enragement of black people, there was a hell of a reason for it.
Yep.
I knew that much. You can't fight for justice that hard as black people have been doing, if you don't have a hell of a reason, if you haven't seen tremendous atrocities that no white person probably would ever see. I mean, a black man being tied down while his wife got raped in front of him.
Yeah.
I'm just, from my own personal sanity, I'm just hoping that I come across to black people as being genuinely not a racist, and not just coming across as somebody, oh, she's faking it like all these other white people.
I don't think so.
And that's my thing.
No, not at all.
I mean, yes, we're on the show, and yes, we're live, and I would hope that you would tell me if you detected in me that I was saying something underhanded, had an undertone to it, holding something back, holding something in, had an innuendo put in place. You know, I need to know those things in everything that I've said. And that's why I felt really bad, Aletha, that I hadn't even thought I should have. Why didn't I?
Go ahead, Aletha.
But that's not the case. The thing that's not the case. The thing that, like I said, with me, I genuinely feel in my heart that you genuinely want to know, and you genuinely want to be educated on, how you can open going on in society, and what you do personally as a white.
Breaking up. While she's coming back, I definitely don't think that you, and I'm gonna echo her sentiments as well. I don't think that I think you're being very sincere, and to be honest with you, it's not for me to say. It's not for me to say whether you're fake, and it's not none of that. And I'm even putting aside the fact that I know you. None of that matters. It's the fact that you will know in your heart. Your heart will tell you, or however the case may be, whether you are being genuine or you just on it just for the sake of it. And that's not for me to determine. My thing was to do what was asked, and I felt that it was needed. So I'm not going to say, well, I can't sit up and say that. I know what I know you as a person, but it has to be within your heart what you feel, and I can't be the one. And I know.
That's a really simple way of saying that, but you're gonna leave an impression with people, and I'm here to admit that I, as a white person, could have offended a black person, and they didn't say anything, or they brushed it off.
Right.
And, it doesn't matter that I don't know. It's the fact that I've offended somebody that is wrong. I don't care whether you know it or not. And the fact that I did not think the way where Aletha was coming from shows my total just selfishness on my part for not touching on the point that she had about, if you don't like it, leave.
I mean, I wouldn't beat myself up that much, because if you don't know, my thing is this: if you don't know, you don't know. So if a person says something out of for lack of not having the knowledge, the person what people should do is educate that individual to let them know what they said was wrong, blah blah blah. So I mean, it's not a matter of you beating yourself up. Say, "Oh my God, I'm sorry." I mean, you know what you said, and move on. Just say what you say, and then move on. So next time you know how to deal with. Now you've gotten a little understanding and education to know that these were some of the things that had transpired over the years and whatnot. And that's even more that we can touch on. But I can't stress the fact that you have started the ball rolling by doing what you need to do. Now, whether you take the information or what you've learned from this discussion and move forward with it and use it for a positive manner, that's on you. But you've taken the ball. Yeah, you've done what you had to do. You know what I'm saying? You don't owe apologies for what has happened. None of that. Because you come in to clear your conscience and get understanding for yourself. So the only one, this is like when God comes back for all of us, no one, he's not gonna say, well, hold on, let me give Adele a chance to apologize for things that her sister or brother has done. No, he's gonna judge you on the things that you've done, personally, yourself, not anyone else. So by you taking that first stance to make the move to clear your conscience and get some understanding, that's better than anything for me. Go ahead, Alita. Okay, go ahead, Adele.
I am very humbled by the fact, despite the struggles, despite the mistrust or distrust that you've had of my people putting on a front, being one way to your face and being in a totally different way behind your back, or just blatantly putting you through atrocities right in front of everybody, that you would even allow me this platform to even come on here and try to learn.
Well, the reason, and I'm gonna let Alita's back. I'm gonna let her say the reason why it's done. I did it because this is a show. It has nothing to do with whatever you want to get your point across. But the thing of it is, the way where we were raised as Black people, we have accepted a lot from our ancestors who taught us, moms and dads and grandmas taught us, hey, just shake it off, keep it moving, don't dwell on. Now you can become an activist, you can become a person that's that's out there on the forefront with especially with Black Lives Matter and protests, and I think it's a beautiful thing. Or you can just take it and move along. So it just depends on how that person receives whatever it is. So we don't go through, as Black folks, at least I don't go through. I haven't gone through my life like, man, saying, man, white folks did this, because that would make me go crazy. All it is, I have to accept the person for what that person is, and that for a fact, because I hung around with nothing but white people. So with that being said, if it was a situation, I would have not accepted for just whom they are, which is a person. Now, quite not, I do understand that what has happened in the ancestral picture, but I was not raised to just have hate in my heart, and in these days there's still white people that still have that, and that's perpetuated. But the buck stops here with you. You have the knowledge and the understanding to take this further and do what you so pleased with it. Alita, you back?
I am. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. So I agree with you, but then I disagree on the point of I have to be real and honest. It does. Hate breeds hate. And I started to hate white people. Just being real. I'm just being honest because of what I went through in my life. I didn't grow up around a lot of white people. I really didn't. And I didn't grow up to be taught hate either. My mom taught me to love everybody. Now, let me make 2 points to y'all. My oldest daughter is mixed. Her father is white. I did not hate white people coming up. I didn't hate white people in my teens. I didn't hate white people in my younger adult years. But her father's mother was prejudiced. And the first thing came out of her mouth when I walked in her door, well, not when I walked in her door, but when she found me, I was in her son's bedroom, was, I hope you're not sleeping with that Black girl because I'm scared that y'all gonna mix races. That was my first sense of prejudice at 17 years old. And we did end up getting pregnant, and she told me to have an abortion because she did not want me to have the baby. Don't mix races. Oh, it can't come from my blood. Oh no. So yes, Yes, I did. When after a whole lot of things happened in my life, I did hate. I'm not gonna lie to you. So it breeds hate. Hate breeds hate. But because I found Christ, let me put that out there. It was not by my own. Because if it was just on my own, my flesh would have still been, I can't stand these people. But because I found Christ and I understand what love is all about and truth is all about, I don't hate anymore, but I'm very cautious with people, period, even that color. So I did want to put that out there. But I do understand where Adele is coming from, and I totally appreciate it. And you have my phone number, honey. We can talk anytime. Anytime you want to call me, text me, we can talk.
Okay, but before we conclude and she answers, I want to ask you this, Alita. Do you think with this incident that I heard that made me think about something that I heard? Do you think there's more black folks or more black folks that how can I put it? By the white person saying don't I hope you're not sleeping with that black girl because I don't want to mix the race. Do you think there's more of them that feel that way as opposed to black people? Because I've never heard, I don't hear too many black folks. They don't really they don't really trip about none of that.
We are some forgiving people. That's what we are.
Right.
We are some forgiving people, and that's what we do. We forgive.
Right.
We forget, and I think that's a curse, and it's great at the same time because we have been forgetting what we've been through for so long and so many years that it perpetuated for so many years, and things kept happening because we allowed it to happen. And then again, we learned to forgive and not deal with what happened in the past and try to treat people the way they were supposed to be treated because our parents and our grandparents raised us that way. And so, I mean, that should show, what type of people we really are instead of listening to the stigmas that go around about black people.
That's right. Okay. Well, Adele, I'm gonna let you wrap up everything since this was your thank you, Aditha. Alita. Since it's your topic as the music come in, say what you gotta say, wrap it up in a nice little bow, and because I'm glad that we had this conversation as the music come on.
Once again, I just would like to thank you for your honesty. Thank you for answering unanswered questions. Thank you for the fact that things that I was missing in my thinking got the holes filled in. And I'm just going to try and educate my people. When those things come up, I'm going to speak up. That's all I can do.
Yep.
When wrong is wrong, that's
enough.
all I can do. That's all I can do.
That's enough.
Speak up.
That's enough.
That's it.
That's enough. That's enough.
And if I can say so
myself. Thank you, Mr. Dale.
And if I can say so myself, hanging around with you, man, I mean, I really didn't detect anything. You were like my sister from another mother, and it's really true. I ain't see color. Not that, I'm saying I won't go back, but I understand, I just dealt with whatever was brought to me, and I love you, man, for real. I've been knowing you for over 30-something years, man. You've been always the same. So let that part be that part, though. But with that being said, I want to thank Alita for helping me out. Y'all go check out her channel. She's very open, very in your face, very straightforward, all that. And Adele, this is your platform now. Whenever you come on, you have any topics you want to come on, say, Anthony, I want to come on. Hey, you're welcome to it. The door is wide open. And I'm glad that there had a lot of people that were on here. I could not get them, get comment on what they were saying. Y'all had to go back and check them out. But I want to thank the supporters, the subscribers, man. This was needed, as Adele mentioned. And again, I want to give y'all her quote, which was, what was it, Adele? I'm a white girl wanting to know.
Yeah.
Let me find that quote. I
sent it to you, so I don't have it anymore.
Let me find that quote, Alita. Okay. Anyway, she's a white girl. That's what it is. She wanted to know what was happening so that she can become, quote, I am a white person willing to learn. My goal is to be an example of how open and receptive white person should be. Did you think you accomplished that? I think she did.
I think she did too. Absolutely. Yeah. And
Think
Mr.
she
Dale, I'm
accomplished
about
that,
to call
Aletha?
you, Mr. Dale. Yes. Yes.
Okay,
She
okay,
accomplished that.
okay.
Okay, well,
Okay,
thanks
let me
for
take my
sending
phone
in
off
the
do not
rest.
disturb, okay? Because
All
I've got
right,
it on
well,
do not
y'all get out.
disturb. So
Y'all get out of here. Let me go get me some coffee or something. Thanks for all the supporters. Love y'all.
okay, thank
Love you
you. All
guys.
right, bye.
All right.
Bye, guy. Let me get them out of here. That was interesting. What y'all think about that? What did y'all think about that? Any comments? Where y'all at? Any comments, questions? Thanks, Miss Denver Queen. Let's see. John Marin. Oh, Arthur John Marin. Tawanda. Boss Lady. Who else came on here? Well, anyway, it's a lot of y'all. I appreciate it, man. Look, I'm about to get up out here, man. So I hope I open your minds. Without y'all now know how to look at things. Well, now we'll look at things in a different light.